So Prit1, the best website ever, alright? So here's the thing, right? Before this, there's only DPS. There's only DPS characters, alright? And we know DPS characters are characters that do damage. Okay, who's the DPS character in this game? Who's the best and the worst? So the best DPS character in this game right now is Alan, Joe, and Zhu. Okay, who's the worst DPS character? The worst DPS character, alright guys. I'm gonna say it, alright? I'm gonna say it. And I know it's gonna be offensive, but I'm just gonna say it. Because we gotta make the haters mad. Okay, the worst. I'm gonna list down the 3 worst DPS character in the game. Corinne. There's one more, let me think. Anton, yes. Anton, yes. Okay, that's just how it is, right? That's just how it is. Before this, it was very simple. You only got DPS characters, and you basically have like all of this concept that you build DPS. You build crit rate, crit damage, and then you build it in terms of the element. Alright? So this one is physical, electric. And then this is ice, this is ether. But now, with the attack, with the new Anomaly DPS, this is like a new concept, right? Now we got, I feel like Jendo pretty much dethrones these other two, in my opinion. I think the best DPS right now is her. These two, I don't know, it's hard to say who is better. I feel like Ellen Jo is more consistent. Now, I think Zuyan is strong, but I have problem with her. Sometimes she goes too far back, and then she tries to go front to kick, and she will miss her kick. I experienced that a lot, because Ellen Jo is a full melee character. She will always keep her distance with the enemy. Zuyan is a range when she fire her shot, and she's also a melee character, and sometimes she will go too far back, and she will go too front, and then she will go back, and then she will go front, and she can miss some kicks in the process, based on what I've seen, right? Which is why it might not be consistent here and there, alright, sometimes. But I would say the difference is probably not that huge, right? Consistency wise, maybe a little bit more towards Ellen Jo. But yeah, the thing is, Jendo is probably... Is she easier to build but compared to these two? I think she is. Like team-wise, she's easier to build. She has less restrictions. Ellen Jo is so restrictive. You need like Huen, you need like Sokaku. Zuyan is also quite restrictive. You need like Qingyi, you need like Nicole. I feel like Jendo has a little bit more flexibility. And also when it comes to building the I'm trying to think when it comes to building them in terms of trying to build them in these drives, right? Which one is easier actually? Now I know that Ellen Jo and Zuyan, you ideally want to go for crit rate, crit damage, I get it, right? You usually go for crit rate, crit damage, and then you go for like the disc drive slot with their elemental damage, or in this case ice, in this case ether. I feel like Jendo is easier to build, I don't know. She's just easier to build. She only needs Anomaly and attack, which makes her like much easier to build. So if you're a new player, she has a lot of value there. Easier to build from these drives. Now, one more thing that again I'm not sure, alright? I don't really have... I'm not well enough to have all the W engine to compare. But one thing that I've been told, alright? I've been told by a lot of other whales that Ellen Jo, okay, Ellen Jo, the difference between the other weapons and her exclusive weapon is quite high. So you ideally for Ellen Jo, you ideally want to get her signature W engine. Now I've heard the same thing about Zhu as well. I've heard the same thing that you ideally want the same W engine. Now for Jane Doe, I've heard that she doesn't really need her W engine as much. So again, that's probably one more point that you should consider if you are free to play, right? Definitely, it's probably cheaper in that sense. You can basically just use this mouth. What is this mouth name? I don't know. What's his name? This mouth is called Rainforest Gourmet. Alright, if you got this mouth, you can basically just build Jendo, right? And also probably like the battle pass or whatever. But yeah, there's those into equation as well. Now, I don't know how we are going to go on in the future with the teams. If you got Jane M2, it's GG. James M2 is GG, eh? Zuyuan W engine are bad, only 5% more damage than Starlight engine. Really? 5%? How about Alan Joe? Alan Joe Mama. But anyways, my point is this, right? The next DPS character, will it be in terms of this? Will it be Anomaly based? Or will it always be like, if we have another Ice type in the future, right? Let's say if we have another Ice type in the future. I don't know if Alan Joe can get power creep that way, because I do think they just need to have a Ice type that is like Anomaly base, as opposed to be like crit rate and crit damage base. If it's an Anomaly based Ice type in the future, will Alan Joe be power creep? I can see that as a potential, yes. I can actually see that as a potential. Miyabi is coming. Yeah, Miyabi is something that a lot of people have been, you know, really looking forward to. And it's really scary, because like all of these DPS, we all know how it is, right? If you guys have played like gacha games generally, they just get power creep. But you still want to have DPS that are 5 stars, or S rank in this case. You don't want to have DPS, you don't want to have DPS that's like A rank. Because if you have DPS like that's like A rank, for example, look at this: Anton, Billy, Corin, tier 2. C tier, alright? C tier. Would you want your DPS character to be C tier? I feel like DPS is still going to be important, ideally for S rank. If you lack, you still probably should get it. And supports you can probably rely on using, like look at this, supports you have a lot of good ones, right? Nicole is free. Although Nicole is, I think she's a little bit more complex. She does have a lot of flexibility with the teams right now. I like her in Zuyuan's team. I like her in also in Jendo team. I can see she kind of works as well, right? You need 3 teams and they mix up teams with element resistance and start adding random stuff like in Honkai Infected. Oh yeah, I'm sure they will, right? I'm sure that's going to happen eventually. But I think the main point of contention right now is, especially for a newer player, right? Probably the cheapest team right now. If you start today, I mean obviously you can't get these 2 anymore, but if you start today, Jendo team is like, it's so good. I think it's really very cheap, very budget efficient, and I kind of like it actually. It's like there's no stress whatsoever. You don't have to like struggle in building multiple characters. Chasing the next DPS every time is no good. Yeah, that's the thing though, right? That's the thing. Because will Alan Joe and Julian get power creep, right? If these 2 is going to get power creep, wouldn't the value here lies in getting characters like Burnice and Caesar, alright? If you can get character like Burnice and Caesar, which is these 2, you know? And these 2 aren't really main DPS material, right? It feels like Caesar right now is going to be a defender that gives attack buff and provides a little bit of buff of her own. Burnice is going to be a character that's like Anomaly based, and she's not really... I don't think Burnice is a main DPS, because it does seem like, based on her description, alright, everything that we've seen so far in the live stream, it feels like she is going to support one more Anomaly character. So I feel like these 2 can be quite flexible and can be quite future proof if you think about it. So definitely values are there. Although I do feel like, who is going to be more sought after? Caesar or Burnice? Caesar or Burnice? Probably Caesar, eh? I feel like Caesar might be more flexible. Caesar might be able to fit in more team. If you got Alan Joe, you can probably use Caesar. If you got Zuyuan, you can probably use Caesar. If you got Jendo, you can probably use Caesar. But if you get Burnice, I don't think Burnice can fit in Alan Joe team or Zuyuan team. Burnice can only fit in this team, in Jendo's team. Right, this is strictly... If you get Burnice, you're strictly getting it for Jendo. I don't think you're getting Burnice for Alan Joe. No one is getting Burnice for Alan Joe. No one is getting Burnice for Zuyuan. Now, can Burnice with Soldier 11 be a thing though? Because people have been saying Soldier 11, Burnice, and some people have been saying Lucy, is it? I'm not sure if this is going to be a thing. Can this be a thing? I don't think so. because Soldier 11 is very similar to, her concept is very similar to these other two. She's not an anomaly base, right? You can see right here, in the best website ever, Pre-1, Soldier 11 is right here. She's not here. The only characters that are here is Jendo, Grace, and Piper, the lolly armpit. So there's that. So yeah, make sure if you are pulling for Burnice, you need to make sure that you have Jendo. If you don't have Jendo, what would be the next best team? Maybe this can work. There's a chance that this could work. What do you guys think? I think this could work. The what armpit? The what armpit? What? Qingyi is an S rank MB? Yeah, Qingyi is really strong for sure. Stunner and stuff. This could probably be one that I can think of for now. Pull for Burnice if you like burning stuff like a maniac. Soldier 11 and Lucy will reduce Burnice anomaly burn damage. Will reduce the anomaly burn damage. Is Burnice good for Jendo? Yes. Burnice is only good for Jendo. Even in the demo itself, they literally showcase multiple instances where they try to put them together, right? Like you can see right here. They try to show... You can see, right? Burnice, Lucy, Jendo, Caesar, Jendo, and Burnice. They try to showcase... I don't think the developers are stupid. If the characters don't work together, why the developer not put Burnice, Ellen Jo, and Zuyan? The developers aren't stupid. They know that these characters work well together. So I am going to assume that these characters do have synergy amongst each other. They show it one more time earlier. Let me see. Is it in this one, right? Let me see when Burnice was out. So you can see one more time. So this is Caesar. Okay, you can see right here. When Burnice is here. The developers don't know how to play ZZZ? Really? So what team is this? Burnice? Burnice with who?
While using her nimble moves to dodge enemy attacks. If needed, Miss Burnice can also concentrate her.
So you're applying all of those debuffs. And then you chain back into Lucy. And then you chain into Piper. So in this team, so this is a team that I mentioned earlier, right? Remember? I was mentioning this team earlier. If you want to have a cheap budget team, this one. Burnice, Lucy, Piper. Piper is your main DPS. But remember, Jendo is an upgrade to Piper. Jendo is a Piper upgrade. Alright, this is the one that you will see a lot of people running this. This is quite cheap actually. It is probably a cheap team. I hope that you do get Lucy for free, but I really hope that when you pull for Burnice, Lucy is in the A rank. But I have a feeling they're gonna put Lucy in the A rank with what's her name? With a Caesar to make people's life harder. Usually, based on what I've noticed, they always like to make people's life harder, right? Broke boy, just say so. Broke boy, just say so. So you can see one more team right here. Burnice, ultimate. This is one thing that I noticed. Look at this, look at this. Burnice is the one using the ultimate. Burnice is the one using the ultimate, not Jendo. So Burnice is the one that's using the ultimate, and then this guy swapped to Jendo. Jendo is still there, right? So Jendo Burnice is definitely going to be something that you'll see a lot. Yeah, I feel like Jendo Burnice plus the third one can be Lucy, can be Caesar, can be, if you want Nicole, could even work, right? But you don't really use NB. At that point, you don't really use NB. NB, out. Alright? That's just how is it. Biker lollies? They wanted to show her out? You think they just wanted to show her out? No, if the out can apply like anomaly stuff, right? Free to play, free to play team, pay to win. Nice combo. But if you look at the right now for the list of the best website, Preet. The best website, Preet. Alright, look at this. Right now, okay, you want to focus on getting Alan Joe, Zuyen. If you have this, good, you can build around them. But if you can't, I don't know, man. I don't know, is it even worth it getting Lycoan at this point? Does Lycoan even have value at this point? Probably not. Probably 0 value. So yeah, there's always it's always going to be complicated. But I do think that Jane Doe is still going to be the best one for now. We'll see if Jane Doe will get power creep, right? Eventually Jane Doe is gonna get power creep, but we'll see. But right now, Jane Doe does seem to power creep these other two a little bit. Just a little bit, right? Not to the point that these other two are useless, but feels like Jane Doe is a slightly better rendition of a team overall. We'll look to the future version once the 1.3 comes out. Then that's when, boom, Jane Doe gets power creep again.